couldn't get it. I didn't get it. I love the fact that they had the cars. I thought that was cool. Yeah. But, you know, I was like, that was not, my cartoons as a kid, that would not be a good thing.
It's 6 o'clock, and I would like to call our public hearing together on the 26-27 budget. Do we have any of that sign up to speak, Dr. Young? Okay. All right. We will then close our budget public hearing since no one signed up to speak, and I will call our regular meeting to order. Thank you for coming tonight. It's good to see a good crowd. I want you to stand, please, for the invocation by Dr. Wilson and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Let us pray. Lord God, we just love you. God, we thank you for all you do for us. Lord, we thank you for this rain and just the blessing it is to us, Lord, to continue to keep us safe out there in this. God, I pray for this night and all the things that are going to happen. I pray for the board and that you give them wisdom. Lord, I pray for this district. Pray for rest and relaxation for our teachers and kids for this summer. Pray they come back ready to learn in the fall. We love you and thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Our next item is approval of our agenda for tonight. Do I have a motion?
Also moved.
Ms. Burgess, do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Neal, any discussion? All those in favor, if you show it by the uplifted hand, and it's unanimous. Our next item is minutes of the April 28th meeting. Do we have any corrections or additions to be made at this time? You each were emailed a copy or mailed. Hearing none, I will need a motion to approve our minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Ms. Hood, do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Neal? All those in favor, please show it by the uplifted hand. Our next item is recognition, and I'll turn that over to Dr. Young.
I do not think we have any press over here today, so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Wilson. We've got some teachers we want to recognize.
All right, got 3 wonderful teachers we'd recognize. If Dr. Young, you and Ms. Upton would come, and we were going to present some recognitions of some state level awards. It's been a great year for us. We've had teachers recognized all year long, and it's kind of nice here at the last board meeting of the school year to be able to do that. Our first recognition is for Soil Conservation Teacher of the Year, Emily Faust. Is not here, but we will recognize her again at some point. And then we had 2 teachers. There's an award called the Jessie Little Leading the Way Award, and it's an award out of Sarah and Winthrop University and the Rex Institute, which is all part of that recognizes teachers that impact the other teachers in the way they mentor. So it's really an award for the top mentors in the state. We got 2. We got runner-up and we got number 1. So we want to recognize both those. Our first, Miss Judy Griggs, was recognized as runner-up, and she got actually some cash, which is better than a trophy anytime. If you get enough cash, you can buy whatever trophy you want. Thank you. Congratulations. And then the state winner of the year for the Jessie Little Leading the Way Award for mentoring is Dr. Jennifer Anderson. Congratulations.
Miss Anderson, I am so proud of you wearing that orange in here today.
Oh.
Go, girl.
Oh, boy.
While y'all are here, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Moore.
Sure. Stay there for another recognition. If I have representatives from Palmetto Middle School, I see a few of you here. If you'll come this direction as well. We want to recognize, I see Mr. McCauley and others, we want to recognize Palmetto Middle School. And I've got some information that I think is worthy of reading, so you understand this is a big deal for them. In the spring of this year, 2026, Palmetto Middle School was redesignated for the not first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, but sixth time as a National Schools to Watch school. And I just want you to listen. There's a very rigorous process. They get a school site visit. They have to go through some good testing and work and a site visit to truly qualify and be recognized for this. And so a couple of these things that they excel in. There's academic excellence. The school challenges all students to use their minds well and provides rigorous curriculum. Developmentally responsive. The environment is sensitive to the unique developmental, physical, and emotional challenges of early adolescence. It ensures every student has access to high-quality teachers, resources, and support. And organizational structures. The school has strong, collaborative leadership and systems that support sustained growth. So on behalf of our board and Anderson School District 1, we want to recognize Palmetto Middle School as a Schools to Watch 6 redesignation. So if you guys will come
I think I'm the only one that's been there for all 6 times.
Who's counting? Come on in.
All right, y'all ready?
Congratulations, y'all.
Oh, okay.
The next person that we're going to recognize is simply a thank you for his service. Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this young man started helping us when he was in middle school, get things organized. So, Nicholas, would you please come on down? Nicholas Williams graduated from Palmetto High School last week, and we appreciate him so much. I think this is a familiar face for everybody, and I told Carol and everybody that I just wanted to thank him because there's not many middle and high school students that would give up their time in the evenings to help make sure that technology works, give up their time in the summer to make sure that when Dr. Wilson wasn't available, we had music playing and the mood was right, whether it be for a meeting for first year teachers, whether it be our back to school event where the entire district is gathering together at one of our schools, all the behind the scenes stuff. He helped Mr. Moore and I do a podcast a few weeks ago when we were trying to do some things. He's going to help do some stuff for us in the future, but this is somebody that is just so talented, and we were blessed to have him as one of our students, but he just was so selfless and willing to be anywhere. If last time we had a board meeting, we were at Palmetto Middle School. Sorry that the cafeteria tables were messed up, but it would have been even worse if he hadn't shown up to show us actually how to put the tables back in the cafeteria. So just goes above and beyond, knows how all of our schools work, knows how the sound system, technology, all the AV stuff that we do. We just appreciate you so much. So we got you a little graduation gift just to say thank you. And we appreciate you so much.
Yes.
And after he graduated from Palmetto, he stayed on to help with Wren's in Pottersville, so.
Well, his family went and celebrated his graduation.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And last but not least, earlier this afternoon, he and I were talking, and we think we're somewhere between 400 and 450 board meetings in his career. And tonight is Dr. Wilson's last board meeting as a district employee. He said he might get bored and come sit in the audience from time to time.
Yes,
And
yes.
especially during budget season
Absolutely.
and all that. But I think all of us in here appreciate Dr. Wilson's wisdom and expertise. This has been the last 5 years here in Anderson 1, but he keeps saying 40-ish when I ask him exactly. But he's been an instructional expert. Mr. Moore and I talk about when you go to state meetings, there's people from all over the state that come up to Dr. Wilson and ask his opinion on stuff, get his advice on things, get his feedback on different ideas that they're instituting. He's the kind of person that he's been a former superintendent, so I've got so much feedback from him on different ideas or not so good ideas that I have had. He's poured into me, given me so much advice. He's just been somebody that we could count on. I think everybody remembers when he first came to Anderson 1, all the stuff that Mr. Benneker and his family were navigating, and if it hadn't been for Dr. Wilson and just the compassion that he helped lead us through that summer and that fall, I don't know where Anderson 1 would have gone that year. So, Dr. Wilson, congratulations on your retirement. If you join us up here for some pictures.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. My pleasure, y'all. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, committee. Appreciate you.
Feels good to be on the receiving end, doesn't it? Not next time.
I'm not trying to remember what's
While we're easily navigating back to our seats, we were going to have one more recognition, but he is on vacation with his family. Mr. Ricky Hughes, who works in our maintenance department. If you come to many of our board meetings, you see a little bit of new furniture right here. He actually built this this spring for the boardroom, so he's going to come join us at one of our board meetings later this summer. But love the table. He did an awesome job, so thank you to him. Ms. Brady, I think you've got some folks that we need to introduce to the board.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Young. As I told y'all, we're still hiring, so we are very excited. Our first recommendation is an recommendation for an assistant principal, Dr. Jennifer Anderson.
You stand here?
Would you like to share a few words?
Sure.
Great.
Jennifer Anderson. I'm currently at Palmetto Middle School. Well, I guess I'm not there anymore, but Palmetto Middle School teaching 6th grade English, and I'm looking forward to working with Mr. Coon at Palmetto Elementary School. Thank you.
Thank you.
And obviously, she's the state mentor of the year, so that's a pretty good board meeting for her.
Yes, congratulations. We also have some teachers, and we will begin with Quinn, please. And I do want to say, according to Dr. Young, 4 of these folks are former graduates of ours. So that's wonderful. So Quinn?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Quinn Buss. I've been a counselor at Easley High School for 4 years, and I'll be joining Powdersville High School's counseling team this year, and I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Katie Epling, and I am going to be at Wren Elementary School. I'm going to be their new librarian. I just finished my master's from Valdosta State University. I've been home with my kids for the past 8 years, and I'm very excited to be here. I have a public library background, so yeah.
My name's Danielle Marriott, and I'm an early hire for the district. I just graduated from Anderson University, and I grew up in this community, graduated from Wren High School, and I was just recently hired on as a coach for Wren High School, so I'm a JV head softball coach, and so I'm super excited to get back as a coach and academically as well.
Hi, I'm Gracie Godfrey. I'm a graduate of Wren High School. I just finished my master's in elementary ed through Liberty University, and I'm super excited and grateful to be joining Powdersville Elementary on their 5th grade team.
Yes, I'm Jennifer Leonard, and I will be joining Palmetto High School for LD Resource. I've been a teacher assistant at Palmetto Elementary with Mr. Coon for the last about 5 or 6 years. And so I'm super excited that I got to go from a TA to go into school, to become a full teacher with District 1, because it's been a great experience for me.
I'm Jada Pearson. I'm a Grow Your Own student, so I'm finishing up my master's right now. This past school year, I started out at Palmetto High School and then transitioned over to Powdersville High School. And next year, I'll be at Wren High School, so I'll finish off this one. I'll be teaching science at Wren High School next year.
My name is Noah Black. I'm coming from Ellen Woodside Elementary School. I graduated from Wren High School. I did my student teaching at Wren Elementary School, and I'm happy to be back at Wren Elementary School as their physical education teacher.
My name is Dana Howell, and I am on transplant to South Carolina. I've been here just about a year and a half. I have been completing 2 long-term leaves at Powdersville Elementary School, and I loved my time there, and am super happy to be hired on as a teacher assistant at Oak Hill next year. So thank you for having me.
I'm Cameron Wood. I'm coming from Blue Ridge High School. I will be teaching computer science at Powdersville High School. Super excited to be here. I actually started 7 years ago education in Anderson 1 as a sub at a long-term sub. So I'm super excited to be back.
I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. Is there anyone else? Again, thank you. Welcome. I appreciate everything that our administrators have, how hard they work to get the very best teachers for our students. And I certainly want to say a special thank you to Ms. Brooks for all that she does for our teachers. Thank you, Dr. Young.
And on behalf of our Anderson County School District 1 Board, I'd like to welcome you to the best school district in South Carolina. Thank you so much for coming to let us meet you. And the good news is you don't have to stay. You can leave now. We'd love to have you, but you're not required. Thank y'all so much for coming.
Good job.
Okay, Dr. Young, you want to go ahead and...
All right, Ms. Upton, we'll start with the financial report. In your packets, we'll start with the local accounts of each of our schools. As you'll see, we're trying to use up, encouraging our principals over the next few weeks to use up those local funds, especially the instructional fee accounts. What you have in your hand is the month ending April 30th, so we have been working with them. I know specifically at Concrete and Powdersville Elementary, the administration's done a good job of making sure that they held some money back to make sure we could make sure the teachers had everything they needed there. And again, at the high schools, athletics, wrapping up the school year to make sure they have what they need. So some of those accounts are there. If there's any specific questions that you have about any of the accounts in the schools, please let me or Ms. Durham know. Next, in the blue pages, you'll see that we've got 50 CDs invested, a little over $11.3 million invested, which we almost got to $300,000 in interest for the last month, $298,736. And then on the third page, you see the 5 different investment accounts. The following page is the backups to 1, 2, and 3. Then the backup to 4. And then the backup to 5. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Durham.
Okay. We'll start out with the building program, the 502 account. Currently, we have a revenue amount of $59,728,672. And our expenses are current today, through April, is $54,484,989. We do have encumbrances of $3,651,537. So we are getting ready to close this thing down. On the 515, which is the next page, we did not have an allocation this month. We had 2 last month, but I did want to point out that we did transfer the $3.6 million that we had talked about with a couple of months ago to the building program, and they were in that fund balance at $14,459,498. The next page is your revenue report. This is for April. We collected $7,792,949, and we are at an 83% collection rate, right on target with where we were this time last year. The expenditure report, we had $9,666,054 that we spent this in April, and we are at a 75% of the budget so far.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Durham.
I'm going to review the second reading of our budget with you all. Sorry. I talked to Ms. Upton earlier. A lot of this is pretty similar to what we talked about in April, so I'm going to go pretty quickly. If I zoom through something and you want clarification on anything, please feel free to stop me. But as you know, that we are committed to a tradition of excellence, world-class knowledge, skills, and life characteristics for all of our students. We really are appreciative of our supportive school board, sense of family and community that we have, the supportive culture we have, the growth opportunities. Even tonight, you heard somebody that's gone from a TA to go to school, and now they're being hired as a special education teacher. Jada Pearson talking about being a grow your own, which means when she came to us as a TA, we invested in her. Now she's a certified teacher. Dr. Anderson has been a successful teacher, now moving into administration. So just the growth opportunities we try to invest in our people here in Anderson One, and just the continued commitment to academic excellence. Our budget principles really try to be a good steward of taxpayer dollars, meeting all the state and federal funding requirements. And we want all of our students to have a world-class education. And we also know that we have to kind of pay attention to our neighbors and make sure we continue to offer competitive compensation packages to all of our employees. And again, every time I see this picture of our maintenance guys on the playground with one of our students, it just makes me smile. It's such a good picture. Budgeting options. Last time, if you remember, we kind of had a gap between our anticipated expenditures and our anticipated revenue. So we knew we had to go back and work with our principals and Ms. Brady and Ms. Tollison to look at is there anywhere, if anybody were to resign or retire, that we could have some personnel cuts through attrition. Any operational cuts, we really worked with our district office directors to make sure that we were being smart and efficient with our funding up at this level. Maximize self-funded revenue, continuing to look at how do we maximize our investment opportunities, things like that. The use of the fund balance, which I'll get to in just a second. And one of the options is always that millage increase, but we really tried hard to take that off the table this year. We know because of Act 388, it really puts a burden on our small business owners, and we just feel like we need to give our small business owners a break from the millage increase, and really tried hard to avoid doing that this year. The fund balance has grown. If you remember, 2 years ago, we moved $4 million from the fund balance to the capital fund. Last year, we allowed that fund balance to grow by a little over $5 million with the anticipation of Oak Hill Elementary opening, and so it grew up to over 28% because we knew we would have some additional costs this school year. So that's why the fund balance grew last year, and so we kept planned it in our head that we might need to dip into that a little bit this year. So the expenditure changes. The teacher salary scale, the governor and everybody had advocated justifiably so for a $2,000 salary scale increase per cell for teachers. that cost us approximately $2 million. There was changes in the employer contribution for health insurance, that cost us about $300,000. Anybody that's on a salary scale, you go to that next year of experience, that cost us approximately $750,000. And then there was a mandated increase to bus drivers, justifiably so, glad we take care of our bus drivers. That was another $50,000. So quick math right there, that's a little over $3 million just on this page alone that we needed to figure out how we were gonna meet those needs. There's also some district needs, cost of living increase. We knew we needed to make sure not just our teachers and folks like that got salary increases, but we did a 2% raise for all of our other employees to keep up with the cost of living. That cost us a little over $500,000. Oak Hill Elementary School, when you talk about the bills and the operational fees and the additional staff, whether it be office staff, counselor, related arts teachers, all the expenses that go into the planning for the next year for water bill, power bill, trash bill, all that kind of stuff. It estimated to be about $1.5 million. We talked about the state and federal cuts to McKinney-Vento and Adult Ed at our last meeting. We estimated that would cost us about $275,000 to continue supporting those programs so that we could continue making an impact. But I also want to highlight that's one of those places where we're trying to maximize revenue, where Adult Ed partnering with Pelzer and partnering with the district, partnering with Anderson 2 to try to get folks certifications, whether it be to some of the maintenance workers or custodians or folks like that we can get those folks through those programs and generate some funding through that. And then paid parental leave, it remained at 6 weeks for this coming up budget cycle, and eventually we anticipate that will go from 6 to 12 for parents to be able to stay home when they have a child. That's an additional cost of $300,000 for sub costs for that paid parental leave. So if you do the math, that adds up pretty quick for our expenditures. So it's a little under 125 million. Last year we were at 120.7. So it's about 3.2 million increase to the budget from last year when we look at expenditures. We've got some unique constraints that I just want to highlight. I know that there's been a couple times recently where Dr. Whitfield's still sitting here in the audience. Myself have tried to communicate. Dr. Wilson over the last several years has been a frequent contributor at planning commission meetings. But I just want to point this out because, and if you'll give me just a couple minutes, I'm going to sit here because at planning commission meetings and we only get 2 or 3 minutes. But we are the lowest funded, not just in the upstate, the lowest funded district per student in the state of South Carolina. So when we say we need all stakeholders involved to help us continue this tradition of excellence we have, we really do need all stakeholders involved because eventually we're going to have to start dipping into our general fund even more to provide safe and secure learning environments for all of our students. Just within the county, if we were funded at the next lowest level within the county, that would be another $28.9 million. If we got an additional $28.9 million, we wouldn't have to worry about staffing cuts. We could continue to fund those, and we would have an additional probably $20 to $22 million that we could put into our capital fund and be able to put classroom additions, save up and build another new school like we've done in Powdersville without putting any kind of strain on our community. And we have tried to communicate that to the Planning Commission, and they still don't seem to understand that. On top of that, I just want to highlight 2 examples that I know of that I want the board to know and I want the community to be aware of. The first one is because of the slim staffing and emergency personnel in our area of the county, there was a student that rear-ended another car on the way to school one morning, and it was after 10 o'clock in the morning before any emergency personnel arrived to that car accident. Now, luckily, it was a student from Wren High School that rear-ended a teacher from another school. and it was safe. But the fact that that young man was on the side of the road with another adult without any emergency personnel arriving is just shameful, and it's because of the continued growth. There's not support. I'm not trying to be critical for any emergency personnel, but there's just not enough manpower out here to continue to support the growth and the roads and all of that is happening in this area. Another time we had a student that was injured at one of our elementary schools, and it was 48 minutes until an ambulance arrived at that elementary school. It is no fault to EMS personnel. They are doing everything they can, but there is such a lack of personnel to support the growth on this end of the county because they are pulled in so many different. It's not like the EMS workers are sitting at the station not doing anything. It could have been one of your family members at your home waiting 48 minutes, depending on the time of day. But there is not emergency personnel in this part of the county to handle the continued population growth. And I hope we can all agree to work with all stakeholders to understand it's not just about the number of classrooms and the number of teachers we have in Anderson 1. But this is an issue we all need to talk about and make sure that the support is in place for this end of the county. Sorry, I did ask Ms. Upton if I could say something.
I'm glad you did.
I also want to point this out. I had a realtor this week talk to me about all of the property taxes that we pay in South Carolina that go directly to Anderson County schools, and I had to point out that in South Carolina you have to look a little deeper at the tax bill. Act 388, originally before Act 388, you would get almost $3,000 that would go to the operational budget for schools. After Act 388, because of how the funding mechanism changed and it had a significant impact on us, it's down to $492, and all of that goes to the capital projects that we have in our district. Other obstacles, we want to make sure everything is adequately staffed. You see a picture there of the state championship Powdersville volleyball team. Later this summer, we'll have the Powdersville soccer team here to celebrate another championship. They beat Oceanside Friday afternoon for another state championship there. Clarity with local and state revenue. We really spent a lot of time talking with state level leaders and county, especially the treasurer. Jason Phillips was a huge help to make sure that Ms. Durham and I had clarity on our revenue. Enrollment, we've been looking at enrollment trends. We did go up about 90 students that are being homeschooled. I know that Ms. Burgess had asked me about that number. 90 students more over the last 3 years ago are being homeschooled in our district compared to years past. So really need to take a look at that. We've also have talked with our high schools and middle schools about making sure that they are advertising all of the opportunities, whether it be for career centers, dual credit classes, AP classes, to make sure that we are making sure that students don't feel the need to leave early so that we can get them discounted or free college credits so they're not wanting to leave early. And just like we talked about, the cost of doing business has continued to increase. Some revenue changes. You see a couple of lines which, Ms. Durham, do you want to chime in on a couple of the things that changed since last time we spoke?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out 4 different line items that did change. The first one, the property and auto tax, that's that ad valorem. When we got our April assessment, it did go down. And so that cost us $84,000. So that number did change from the April board meeting. Then the education funding model, we received some not so great news the other day, and with the Senate, we did lose money there. So we had to make an adjustment there, and that went down. The one winner was with the state property tax, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. That's where Dr. Young and I spent a lot of time with Jason Phillips and talking with the RFA and recalculating what those taxes are. And that one did tick up a good bit. So that big county equalization where we lost money, it really offsets each other. So that really was a good help. And then the other one is that use of fund balance. That's one of those things we don't want to do, but that's the only option we have at this moment.
and we knew that was a possibility heading into this year, so we planned for that. The good news is when you look at that 1.6 number, if you think about the cost of opening a new school, we estimate that to be around 1.5. So we got really close to that. If we wouldn't have gotten, and the projections we got from the state on Thursday, literally, we were finalizing the budget presentation when the email came through, and we lost $688,000 just like an email. And my understanding is every traditional public school district in the state lost several $100,000 based on what the Senate projections sent out on Thursday afternoon. So that was, we were not alone in how that impacted us, but we would have been able to be below $1 million in the fund balance if it wouldn't have been for that. But so you see, we did account for 1.6 million in the fund balance, which gets our revenue to match 124.9, and that gives us a balanced budget, which is very important. I think it's a 3.5% increase from FY26. Our goal was to be around that 3.5% to 4%, so that we could avoid doing a millage increase, so that we could make sure that we were being responsible with everything else that we have, toward the responsibility we have to our taxpayers. So that would be our balanced budget for the upcoming school year.
What portion of the Senate changed?
So there was something with the funding formula where I don't know tons of details, but I know that some of the charter districts came out with more revenue, and the traditional brick and mortar schools were the ones that lost revenue based on the clerical error that they said that they discovered.
I think you've done a great job, all of you and Ms. Durham and all your team, and I appreciate it. So, with that, not asking for a millage increase, and that's important this year too.
Yes, ma'am. So with
Are
that.
you ready for us to vote?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I need a motion to approve the 26-27 operating budget of $144,911,000, add $691. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Ms. Burgess, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Seward, any further discussion? Here now, we're ready to vote. All those in favor, if you'd show it by the uplifted hand, and that is unanimous. Thank you, Dr. Young. Okay.
Next, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Moore for the instructional report.
Thank you, Dr. Young. I'm going to also invite our Director of Digital Learning, Ms. Kristen Hearn, who's joining us this evening. And we have a different type of instructional report today, but it is a hot topic in educational circles. We talked a little bit about technology and education. And so I want to just briefly mention to you that Anderson One was contacted by the State Department, Mandy Roberts, who works closely with Ellen Weaver, our State Superintendent of Education, said, hey, we think the world of Anderson One, and we would like you guys to pilot some materials and do a screen-free week in Anderson One. And we were very interested in that. We were able to work with Mr. Kuhn, Mr. White at Palmetto and Cedar Grove and you have a copy of this book at your seat, but The Adventures of Superbrain, that has some information and activities that revolve around the idea of screen-free learning, how using your screen impacts your brain at the elementary age. And Ms. Hearn is going to share a little bit more about what we've done, because we went a lot further than that throughout the week. But we were glad to partner with the state of South Carolina, the State Department, and make sure that for us it was a fun experience. And it was an opportunity to truly put the device to the side and engage our kids. And we got a lot of really positive feedback about that. And in a moment, we'll talk a little bit more about the technology piece. But I want to turn it over to Ms. Hearn, who's going to tell you a little bit more about what we did and just kind of what our thoughts are moving forward.
Absolutely. So after we were contacted about participating in this screen-free opportunity, we wanted to add some additional resources for our teachers and other opportunities.
I mean, it was not after. Ms. Hearn and her team were working on this prior to this. This is not an after. They were already planning some different screen-free stuff for after testing. So you can pat yourself on the back.
And
you were on top of this.
So we did have a document that we shared with our kindergarten through 5th grade teachers, and there was a page for each grade level that had activities that were appropriate for that age group, things like going outside and completing a scavenger hunt, that the students could then come back inside and do other activities with the things that they found. Games that the students could complete that were related to math. Some of them were card games that we were able to change the cards to have math problems and different things like that. And many of our classrooms took the opportunity to complete those, so we asked them as they finished some of these activities to take pictures and send to us. So you can see some of the examples that are on the screen. We had some 5th grade classes that made their own board games, and then when they finished making their board games, they shared those around the other classrooms and they could play the board games that their peers had created. And then we had a class that built some towers, and the students were competing on who could build the tallest tower out of the materials that they had in their classroom. Brad, if you'll scoot forward to the next one. So we had some students that were also completing a solar oven that they could use outside to make s'mores. So we have lots of pictures of them making s'mores with their solar ovens. But one of the things that we are really trying to focus on within Anderson One, because we know that technology is changing so much, we want to make sure that we are supporting that for our students and teaching them the things they need to know, but also while focusing on really the 4 C's of 21st century learning. So instead of the students consuming everything using their device, really focusing on using the technology for collaboration, for critical thinking, communication, and creativity. So when our students do that, it is not just about the amount of time they're spending on the device, but what they're doing with the device in the classroom, so that we can make sure the focus is more. And when I say the word engagement, we think about engaging our students every day, and we do that in the classroom. But when we talk about engagement using a device, that is more about clicks that a student is having on the device and getting them to engage with something that is making them continue to use the device. So we're trying to get away from the engagement of a device and think about how they can use these 4 C's to really expand their learning more. So this is what our team, our digital learning team, is really focused on in the district and trying to move forward. So as a part of that, I think it might be on the next slide, Brad. As a part of that, we have made the decision for next school year to go ahead and move back to class. It's not even a class set. It's a small set of devices in our kindergarten classrooms. So this is how we had things set up before COVID. And then when COVID came, we had to have devices for our students to do school at home. And so when we gave all of our students the devices to be able to continue school at home, that sort of just continued. But now we're seeing that what we want to happen in the classroom is going back to those small sets. So we would have, depending on the class size, class sets of 10 for most of our K-5 classrooms. Some of our smaller classrooms will have class sets of 6. So the iPad is used more as part of a station rotation than an everyday instructional piece of the classroom. And so for us, we're wanting to make sure that we are considering what is developmentally appropriate for our students. We want to make sure that we are able to monitor the amount of screen time that they have in the classroom, and not just monitor, but make sure the things that they are doing and participating in are actually impactful to the education that we're giving our students, but also be able to partner with our community to make sure that we are doing what our parents and community members feel like is most important for our kids.
And I'll just say 2 things just to wrap that up. One, it's a blessing to have a director of digital learning who has such an expertise in this area, but also values that technology should be used in the right way to benefit our kids. And you saw those 21st century, those specific skills and areas where we want to use technology and teach appropriate use of technology. But then also, again, as this is an ongoing conversation, we've also said in the same breath, it's okay to put the technology to the side and to learn when it's appropriate. And so we will continue to update the board and have this ongoing conversation about what this looks like like everything we do, to benefit our students. We want to do what benefits our students. And so appreciative that Kristen would join me to give you an update, but we were glad to host Mandy Roberts and the Screen Strong organization. They paid a visit to the 2 elementary schools that were piloting this information and these products, and it was a very, I think, well-received opportunity from our kids and from our teachers as well. Got a lot of positive comments from those teachers.
Is there a target for the screen time or percentage?
I don't think we have necessarily a percentage right now. I know some of those conversations are being had. We're thinking through what that should look like. For the most part, what we're asking is when you do not have an activity that is planned, that is making, I guess, an activity that is centered on the child's learning and what is going to make their learning more enhanced. Don't leave the device at the table, don't leave it at the desk. Take them and put them in a certain space in the classroom that is kind of out of sight so that students are engaged in other activities. They don't have the opportunity to think, oh, I'm finished with my work, let me just grab my device and I can do a game or I can do these other activities. So right now there's not a specific percentage that we have as much as we're trying to streamline the way the device is being used and make sure that is out in all of our classes.
And Chris will tell you too, most of our programs that we use, and I don't like to use the term program, but a lot of the programs that we use usually have a recommended usage. So I think about Freckle at the elementary level, iReady at the middle level. There's usually, hey, a sweet spot of 15 minutes a day or 45 minutes a week or something like that that would be, I guess, for those programs, the closest we have to like a recommended usage at this point.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
One of the biggest things, and not just in kindergarten, but all of our elementary, with the kids, are not going to be taking the devices home anymore. They're going to stay in the classroom and charging stations. So that means that it's not sitting at your desk so that you can't just pull it out of the basket underneath your desk and have it here kind of like I'm looking at something and where Ms. Hood is, she can't see what I'm looking at. Those devices are going to stay in charging stations in the classroom so that it's not that crutch that people lean on all day long. And then we're going to really try to get some data on what are you using the device for so that we can kind of get better answers to the questions that you just brought up. All right, Ms. Brady, the student nutrition report.
Yes, we've had a very successful year in our student nutrition program. And I wanted to spotlight our summer feeding programs, which begin Monday, June 1st. They will go through Thursday, June 25th. Spearman Elementary is our open community site, serving hot breakfast and lunch to all students. Attending the summer reading program at SC Create, which is our gifted art program. Palmetto Middle is an open community site serving lunch. Free hot meals are available to eat on site to anyone 18 years or older. We've been doing this now for several years. Hopefully next month we'll have some pictures from the students participating in the feeding programs. But that's pretty much what I wanted to focus on for this month's nutritional report. Dr. Young?
And then Ms. Brady, if you want to go ahead and talk about the leave policy.
Yes, thank you. Last month, you were given the leave policy to review, and this month, consideration is to approve policy GCC, policy GCD, policy ARGCD, policy GDC, policy GDD, policy ARGDD. There are, and I need to grow up with technology. So anyway, no change has been made since you were given the policies. Are there any questions? Then we certainly recommend for approval of the new Anderson School District 1 leave policies.
Okay, you've heard Ms. Brady's recommendation, or spoken by Ms. Brady too, as far as these policies. Do I have a motion we approve at this time?
I do so.
Dr. Neal, let's find out a second. Second. Ms. Hood, any discussion? All those in favor, show it by the uplifted hand.
Thank
you,
y'all
Ms.
so
Brady.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one policy for review for first reading. I want to, Dr. Whitfield was very involved in this policy, so I wanted to say before I let him kind of go over the policy with you guys, I've known Kyle Whitfield since he was a young man, and he is going to do an absolutely fantastic job. Y'all picked a good one. He won't miss a beat, and I just wanted y'all to hear me say there's nobody I could be any happier about taking my spot than Kyle. He's going to do a great job. So I'm going to let him kind of go through this. That's going to be his thing, and I'll give him feedback later. So
yeah, I was going to ask how much I owe you.
Yeah,
but,
he's going to do a great
I
job.
appreciate it, and likewise, Dr. Wilson. Yeah, he's been great as I transition into this role, and just been a tremendous mentor over the years too. So I still have your number, so
yes,
I won't hesitate to call you.
You have to bench 400 pounds to have this job.
I'm not.
That really well, Mike.
600 over here.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I know at least 400. I mean,
That didn't come up in the interview, but yeah. Thank you, Dr. Wilson, for letting me share this policy tonight. And so this, just to kind of give you background on this policy, because it is kind of lengthy. It's the culmination of kind of three things. State legislation was passed. So this policy, we're optimistic that we can get it in place by the June 30 deadline. And so they provided a state memo of guidelines. And then the South Carolina School Board Association also offered a model policy, which we benefited from. And then it's also, we included some existing policies, which you'll find in the document. And so I just want to reference these policies just really quick so you'll know what they are. We've got JFAA, which is the resident admissions. We've got JFAB, which is non-resident transfer students. And then we've got JFB, which is school choice. And so as you look through it, you'll see strike through from existing policy that was introduced into this new policy. So all those policies are contained in this document. So we're moving from 3 policies to 1 now, but tuition, all the other things are still in place here. The other thing I want to mention is that what we think happened is that model policy came out from the South Carolina School Board Association, and then the state sent a memo kind of outlining the expectations that they were hopeful that would be in policy. And so the model policy from the South Carolina School Board Association was missing some of these elements. So it'd probably be likely that they would come out with a revised version of theirs, but we just went ahead and put those elements in this policy. Most of those are kind of at the end, and some of those pertain to things like capacity standards, waitlist procedures, application deadlines, enrollment windows, and then attendance. And the big thing that I like about this policy is somebody moving from the principalship to the district office is it really outlines expectations for students maintaining in good standard that we admit into our schools, because before this that wasn't in place. So attendance, behavior, grades and things of that nature. So this is just a quick overview. I don't know if you guys have specific questions about this policy.
What is a intra-district, INTRA?
Yes.
I can read it. A transfer that allows a student to enroll in a school within their current residentially assigned school district.
So intra-district would be school choice is the terminology we use in our district. So if a student wanted to go from Wren High School to Powdersville High School.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And then inter-district would be out-of-district kind of tuition, if that makes sense.
Do we have questions tonight? But we've got a month to look this over, and if we have any questions, we will call you.
Yes, ma'am.
I will make sure y'all have Dr. Whitfield's number as he starts answering all those questions.
Absolutely. Be happy to take your calls.
Thank you, Dr. Whitfield.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, our next item to approve the parent organization.
Yeah. As y'all know, the state a year or so ago is requiring all booster clubs and all PTSOs to fill out the application basically and be approved by the board. We have two of those, Powdersville Elementary and Oak Hill Elementary and Concrete Elementary would like to go ahead and get theirs approved as they're revamping, and they just felt like they need a little extra time, so they have got their new members approved, and I'm asking the board to approve those two for Oak Hill and Concrete Elementary.
Okay, you've heard Dr. Wilson's recommendation to approve the organization of club forms for Concrete and Oak Hill. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wilson, do I have a second?
I second.
Dr. Neal, any discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. All those in favor, if you'd show it by the uplifted hand. And it is unanimous.
Thank you, Ms. Sutton.
Okay, Dr. Young.
Next, I just wanted to show you a couple things with safety and construction update. What I wanted you to see is we've got the infrastructure for the Raptor wearable badges in place in all of our schools now. So what you see on the left is the kind of the module that manages all the communication from the school level to administration and law enforcement. And then on the right, the little circle is, if you're in our buildings, you might start seeing those around the building. That is how the teacher would communicate to the module. The teacher would have a badge around their neck, just like what I have on. If they press the button 3 times for an emergency, it would communicate to that little circle on the wall, which would then be able to send out the emergency signal to the appropriate personnel. So that has been installed already over the last few days. And then we'll have badges and training this summer. This is actually the program that Mr. Bruce, that's replacing Dr. Whitfield, his school used the same security infrastructure. So he's already been trained and had good things to say about it. So that was a good thing. So we did good, Dr. Wilson.
Good.
Next, we've got the cameras and everything installed at Oak Hill. So you see some updated cameras. I wanted to highlight the picture on the left, the small cameras. That's got like 3 heads, so it sees down the hallway in all 3 directions. And right underneath it, you see one of those little circular things for the Raptor there. And then outside, the exterior cameras. Greg was already able to pull up all the cameras and see the workers in the building today. And the other thing I want to point out about safety on the picture on the right is you see that black gate. Just outside of the picture, that gate, in order to access that area, is a scan thing that you have to have card access to be able to get into that outdoor area around the school. Again, we've said this for a while. This fall, we're partnering with emergency management, the sheriff's department, EMS, ANMED. I even think Prisma's coming to the table because we're doing it in Powdersville to really work together with another simulation on October 9th. That's a teacher work day. I know that's a long way off, but if you could block off a couple hours that morning, you could kind of see if Dr. Whitfield at work working with all those folks, but working with October 9th.
Okay. I have a question about Raptor.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through the threat is recognized or identified and somebody in the building has the badge on and they press the badge? What happens after that?
The administration and SRO will get notified immediately, and will know like where they need to go. They'll get an alert on their phone that says Mike Wilson in room 417 has an emergency. So then you report to room 417, and then at that point you would have within your app you could communicate with 911 or outside if necessary. Or it could just be that the nurse is needed for a medical emergency or something like that. It doesn't always have to be a crisis.
If we what about the lunchroom and janitorial staff?
They all have.
Everybody
Gotcha,
have.
great.
Just so that if we decided to, for the multiple pushes like the 7, we could automatically make that. That will be an automatic lockdown. It'll be set up that if they go 7 times, it locks the building down. So anybody in the building has the authority, including the janitor. If they see somebody walking outside with a gun, the janitor can lock the building down.
Yeah, that's exactly where, I mean,
Yes, sir.
weak point of a building often is loading docks and that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
You see it coming, you don't have time to
That's right.
respond. That's a great, I'm glad
Yes,
for
sir.
that.
And we can
Okay.
set it up later. Once we get a feel for it, we can make it automatically on that 7th also hit 911. So we want to kind of play with it a little bit because we don't want to keep bothering 911 while we're working through it. But that's something that some of the schools in Greenville have done, is they've added it to that 7th push as a 911 call.
Thank you.
Capital improvement plan. So last time I showed you what the band tower was gonna look like. This is actually what it looks like at Powdersville High School today. It was completed a couple weeks ago. We were supposed to start demo on the playgrounds at Hunt Meadows and Palmetto Elementary today, but Dr. Wilson didn't do a good job with the weather this morning. But those projects should be done by June 30th. And already underway with HVAC and roofing projects. Andy had the workers ready and lined up as soon as the kids left the building last Thursday at 11:30. Andy had the trucks in the parking lot at noon. True?
Yeah, you can even get through y'all's parking lot.
So,
Is that a screen mesh? Is that a screen mesh on that?
it's fencing.
Fencing, okay.
Yep.
gotcha.
The stadium renovations at Palmetto High School, the concrete pad is poured and been extended. The bleachers will start being installed next week, and then the goalpost will be painted this month. Should be ready to go by football season. Looking forward to getting that improvement for Palmetto High School and Williamston and everybody. It's going to look so much better. Just so you guys know what's going on in Powdersville, they're already putting cubbies and casework in the classrooms that are going to be kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. The restroom renovations are already underway. They start working on that over the weekend, and new furniture will be coming for the primary classrooms at Powdersville Elementary. Updated signage and graphics, because now it's Concrete Elementary School. We actually we're updating the website and all that over the next couple days. As you see, they've updated their logo for Concrete Elementary. The weather this week has impacted moving the portables, but again, we talked about the growth in the Wren community, the Wren Elementary, Spearman Elementary. We're moving 2 portables from Concrete to Wren Elementary within the next couple weeks when we get a couple days of good weather, and then they're going to have new furniture for grades 3, 4, and 5 for Concrete, just because of the bigger kids there. So excited about what's happening in those 2 buildings over the next few weeks. Oak Hill, all the furniture is delivered and installed. The landscaping is being wrapped up. Road construction's underway. We got a call in the morning with our OS Office School Facilities Inspector tomorrow. As soon as we can get confirmation on a couple guests, we'll have a ribbon cutting later this summer that we'll try to get everybody at. And just I want to show a couple pictures again. This is our local option sales tax, paid for this. You all know that, but the cafeteria and the library, it just looks amazing. Really did a good job. You all working with Mr. Benneker did a good job of cleaning this building out. Classroom furniture, just great job. With the Lake Shores was a good partner there. And these pictures were taken last week. There's actually I call them smart boards because that's what I got in my classroom 20-something years ago. But whatever the appropriate interactive board is on the wall is in place in classrooms now, in the middle between the 2 whiteboards. And then these are the collaborative spaces that each grade level has a space between the classroom pods where they'll be able to do activities with students to have them have space to work together on different things. You can do intervention out there. You can have some of the leader in me time class meetings out in that area. Just really, really cool setup at Oak Hill.
Would that require a little bit different thinking for that group on it? I mean, that's different than any other school we have, right?
Yes, it's definitely different, but it's giving
that's
them
a positive, by the way.
Yes, it's giving them the space to do some of the things that we talk about that's conducive to working together and collaborating, having students be able to work with adults out in that area. So looking forward to that.
And those are actual pictures.
Yeah.
These 2 and then the first 2 almost look like renderings.
They're so perfectly.
They're so, yes, I mean, it's just,
Well,
It's beautiful
I
building.
can't take photo cred for that. That would be Miss Brenna Horn and her, I took that one.
as I said, there's.
On either side.
Take a look at that shiny floor, it won't be that shiny till next year this time.
And I know that these types of settings have been very, very conducive to the middle school setting.
Yes.
So I'm excited for them to be at
Yes.
the elementary level.
It's
And
been awesome.
looking forward to watching how they really implement them to, across the types of instruction that are offered, so.
Yeah, I think Miss Horns called Mr. Moore up there 2 or 3 different times to talk about, all right, how do you think this is a good use for this room? This-
You know Miss Horn, she's got a plan and then another plan, and so I'm really excited to see those kids enjoy that space and learn in that space.
Thank you, Miss Upton.
Okay, it's always so good to see the elementary school do. Our next thing is consideration to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. Do I have a motion?
I do so motion.
Second.
Dr. Neal, Mr. Wilson, seconds it. All those in favor, if you truck buddy up with the hand. Okay.
We got room.
You'll pass on so we can thank him. We love his technique.
He's gonna come one of the meetings this summer, he just couldn't come tonight.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. I'd like to report that there was no action taken during executive session, and we're ready to move to our next item. Item number 8, this is personnel.
All right, turn it back over to Ms. Brady.
I do want to say a special thank you to our board for allowing Anderson One to do the early hire process. It is very difficult right now to find early childhood and elementary. So the fact that our board supports that, really, we are able to hire some of the most gifted teachers. So thank you so much. I appreciate that support. For this month, we have one administrative recommendation with Dr. Jennifer Anderson at the AP at Palmetto Elementary. We have 12 teacher recommendations, 2 transfers, 2 retirements, and 14 resignations.
You for Ms. Brady's recommendation for personnel, do I have a motion that we accept these?
So move.
Ms. Burgess, do I have a second? Second. Ms. Hood. We're ready to vote. All those in favor, show it by the uplifted hand. And that is unanimous. The next item is item number 8. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Wilson, I need a second.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Neal, all those in favor, please stand. Thank you for a good meeting.
Brad, is this yours or the one?
It's the one. Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure.